But I'm back. The sickness is back. My last video, I got the flu or some nasty virus that's been going around. Where I had a fever for a good few days, and I'm still recovering, but I'm feeling so much better mentally and physically in my mind, and like I said, my body, because I went back to training. So it's being consistent again, getting back in my routine that makes my mind at ease. So what I wanted to really talk about was, I guess, demons, anxiety, and the demons you struggle with. People don't understand certain things, what it's like to want to be alone but not want to be alone at the same time. What that means is, in my experience, I don't know, when I was 5, I lost my dad. That's something I don't talk about a lot at all. Why? Because it makes me uncomfortable. It's not the best memory to have. But it happened. It's secondhand smoke. So at that age, that was trauma. I mean, I was, like I said, 5. So I knew a little bit what was going on. It was tough growing up without a father and not understanding why and all that stuff. But that goes back in a few of my other entries on these videos of, if you have trauma in your past and it's basically unresolved, or something that just doesn't go well with you, and then you go to war, that brings the PTSD on worse than it could be for other situations. And it all varies from subject to subject. So the thoughts, and this is for any veteran or anybody that deals with anxiety, of just thinking of, in my eyes sometimes, just thinking of going out to dinner gives me anxiety. Why that gives me anxiety? Well, one, I don't like to be surrounded by a lot of people. I had that a little bit before the Marine Corps, but I was able to go to concerts back then. I don't know, the one thing that I could relate it to is when we were in Iraq, when we would be on patrols, we'd be in the middle of markets when, they didn't have curfew and they were allowed to roam around. And so we had to go around making sure, nothing was going on. So there was nothing but people around you, and at any second you could have been blown up. And that was that feeling. So we were on edge, but you were being friendly at the same time. It's just, that feeling was very difficult. And I think that's part of the reason why I don't like being in social areas, and people are crazy as well. I don't like being in situations that could trigger me, and triggers I want to kind of touch back on. But a trigger could be anything from, you're sitting in traffic, and that's a common stressor, and that will add to a lot of stuff, and that goes with how to cope from stress, how to deal with it. And with me, as everybody knows, is JiuJitsu. That's how I cope with it. Like I said, this week I was able to go twice already and train on my own time, but I got to go to my instructor's school, and then, that just makes me so much better stably in my mind. So there was a lot going on in my life in recent month or 2 months. I had some issues going on, new issues. Just, I had to get out of the house and get a hotel for a few days. That was where my last YouTube entry was. On top of feeling sick, on top of already with the health issues that you're not understanding why they're coming back. There's, so you add that, and you add that plus anxiety, so your mind constantly is thinking, oh, am I sick? Why do I have this? What is wrong with me? So really, it's really hard to handle anything else when your mind is already racing, and there's nothing to get rid of it. There's the only thing you could do, or what I do, is sleep. Sleep helps turn the mind off. If I could sleep, like I said, during the day I could sleep all day, and then nighttime is when I awaken. And again, due to, I think, all of the adrenaline from the military of when we left at 10 p.m., 12 a.m., 2 a.m., when we felt that fight or flight adrenaline in that first few minutes when you went outside the base, and you held that on for a long time, even though you would get super tired, but it was always there. So you had to fight to be awake, and I don't know if that's a schedule, but with that, I believe it is. I believe a lot of it has to do with that. And again, it shuts the mind off when I get to sleep, and so that's tough, not wanting to be around a lot of people is tough because people don't understand, and they look at me like I'm crazy, but they weren't in my shoes. So it's hard to judge when you weren't in that person's shoes, and everybody deals with that. I feel everybody has somebody that's gonna just look at that person, question them, and just think they're crazy. There's a lot of people that just don't understand. Meaning they don't know they have anxiety. They don't know they have PTSD, and sometimes they have to think and look deep in themselves, at themselves, and it's very difficult. That was the hardest thing for me to do. So dealing with that, I know yoga helps, meditating, all that stuff helps. But what helps me is therapy, which I haven't been to in about 2 months, just because I've been so hectically busy, which is good and bad. But I'm going back next week. I already talked to him, and you could tell, I could tell, anxiety is real, and demons are real. I haven't gone down some dark paths in a long time. I remember, just real quick, when I got a divorce, I had to give up my house. I gave up my house. My 2 dogs I gave away to my ex-wife. I kind of just got rid of everything, and so I had nowhere to go. I was living in a basement, and then I was just I was at the lowest point of my life, if that makes sense, post-military. And this was just realizing that I had PTSD, but you put all of those emotions into it with all that stuff, and it's just it's very tough. It's very tough to deal with. So you go through those hard battles, you go through those struggles, and again, it was on top of me working full-time and going to school full-time, finally finishing my bachelor's at the time, and you don't think you have anything left. And those times continued for a good 2 years. I was weak. I was so mentally just defeated in my mind, but I kept going, if that makes sense. I wouldn't go for that final kill. Like I was still crawling to get up, but I was beaten down, and I was like a puppy dog, and just so emotional, and this and that. And then I look at days, and now I can't even remember the last time I really ever shed a tear. And it's like I feel like you get beat down so much, you kind of get numb to it, and it's hard to show feelings in the traditional way. Maybe that goes along with anxiety too, and all of that stuff, and it all ties together. But, you know, so again, I could have went into more depth into all of that, those crazy times, but there's no point. The past is the past. I created a lot of it. And, you know, there's two people in everything, and I, you know, caused my own issues. Lost some good friends over it, you know. Again, there's always multiple stories. But it goes with, you know, you got to fight that in your mind every day. I didn't know what I was going to do, you know, but this is for everybody that jiu-jitsu, again, jiu-jitsu was there for me. And that's why I remember so much jiu-jitsu, of what belt I was, where I was fighting, what my record was, just the days of how I needed those days, because I don't know how I was going to make it. I was really, really in a low point. So those demons have been gone, you know, like they crept up on me again, because there's a lot of stuff going on recent weeks back, months back, but now everything's kind of settling down, and I'm feeling better physically, and that makes, like I said, that makes me feel so much better mentally. But it's out there, you know, we're human, and I will continue to fight this stupid mind stuff, you know, and I'm getting better and better as it goes, but you're gonna always have a setback, but that doesn't mean anything. But again, don't judge, because you just don't know. You just don't know. That's the biggest thing, and it goes both ways, you know. Again, I don't do this for sympathy. I don't do this for, you know, it feels good when people reach out to me, but that's not what it's for. If I got no messages, I'd be fine with it. It's for me, and it's to hopefully help any of the Marines that want to, or military members that want to do drugs or all that stupid shit, or kill themselves type stuff. You know, there's always ways around it, and you know, you got to keep trucking forward. I mean, that's all you could do. I have a good thing going. I got a lot of people that look up to me, and I'm fond of every single one of them. So hopefully this helps, but a little dive in, you know, what anxiety and what triggers are to me, and a little bit of, you know, when it got low, how I managed to overcome that, and kind of, yeah, I haven't showered yet, so my hair is all over the place. Anyway, I did switch rooms to finish, because this doll is in a different room today, or tonight. I just walked by, and this thing scared the living hell out of me, so I figured why not just finish here. But again, triggers for me could be sitting in traffic, loud noises, people being around me, raised voices, confrontation. That stuff is instant triggers for me. You know, and everybody has their own triggers, and dealing with them that's something that we need help with. You know, that's why you got to find something you love. That's why you got to find something you enjoy, at least. You know, you have to try to enjoy something. You know, I know life could be dark, depressing, whatever, the winter, you know, you don't see the sun. I get it. But there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. There's something. It could always be worse, and that's something that you got to think about, and you know, there's always ways to get help. And are you going to do it, or are you just going to complain about it? And you know, we all have to go through that. We all have busy lives. You know, but sometimes we gotta, you know, dig deep, look at ourselves, and wherever we need to help, we need to go for that. And like I said, there's always a good chance that you could come out okay. You know, you gotta fight for it, just like you fight for it in everything. Nothing should be easy, but that's what makes this thing of life so interesting. Especially, you know, it could end at any second. So don't let your anxiety consume you. You know, do something. Keep your mind busy. Regardless what it is, you know, just make it through. Because any dark times, like I said, could be brighter in the long days. So always remember that.